ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Sunday, July 18th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. Oh my gosh, guys, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Love you guys. Welcome to all my Facebook peeps who come in and chat in the room. So good to see you. And welcome to my Facebook lurkers. You guys are so welcome. Please don't hesitate to pop in and say hello. Would really like to hear from you and answer any questions that you have or listen to any good coloring advice that you have. Doesn't matter what level coloring you are, we are here. And if you don't color, hey, come on in just for the companionship. We have a great time. I've got a great group of people. And we just have a lot of fun. Alrighty. Hi, Mary. And welcome to my YouTube peeps. After I'm done with live, it goes to video, both in Facebook, and I upload it to YouTube. Mary, how are you doing? Did you have a decent day today? Mary says good. Okay. I'm trying so hard to get out of the habit of saying, how are you doing? What are people gonna say, you know? Oh, you start summer camp tomorrow? What is that, sweetie? Hi, Ashley. I am doing well. Well. All right, guys. Now, I want to point something out to you, and I will make a post about this. When you go into our affiliate list, Ashley, good to see you. When you go into the affiliate list, there are things that have hearts by them. And that means that those are basic items that I think everybody needs to get them started in coloring. Hello, Wanda. Did you have a good time last night? Mary says that the camp is 2 weeks of school for children going to kindergarten. Cool. Hello, Sandy. Oh, good, Wanda. I'm so glad to hear that. I am happy for you. Good. Guys, please don't be strangers. All right. Dum. Mary says this is a cute fellow. Yes, he is. Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay, tonight's project is this little fellow. And this is from the SteamPunk special from Coloring Heaven. Now, I'm not subscribed to this, but it is a publication that comes out, I don't remember how many times a year, 4 times a year maybe? And there are some interesting pictures in here. I gotta tell you. Now, I happen to pick this one. No, he's not going to have multicolored skin, Wanda. Now, she might. So there are some pretty nice illustrations in here. It's done by a husband and wife team, Matt Davidson and Dawn Davidson. They have monthly and then some collection issues that come out 4 times a year. Thank you, Ashley. So I thought that I would work on this little fellow for you. It incorporates quite, don't destroy his face. Oh, Mary. All right, let me roll this back. Now, this page is a little bit larger than 8.5 by 11, so I can't copy it on my copier, but I did take a picture of it. And I have an app that I can reduce the picture and then print it out on 8.5 by 11. He's a pretender. Hi, Rhonda. So I'm going to do this on the original paper, which is the thinner paper. I think on a scale from 1 to 10, I made maybe 4 or 5. So anyway, I thought I'd have some fun with that. Mary says not a real steampunk. This is one of the milder pictures. It's got the little hat with the goggles. So it's got a number of elements in here. Some of you are still asking about skin. We can do that. And I just thought it would be a really nice piece to do. All right, let's get coloring. Oh, don't forget Wednesday. That will be a peep directed coloring by me that I'll be doing for you. So we can go ahead and see what you guys can come up with. Okie dokie. So let me get started here. Da-da-dum. So I'm going to start on a satchel, just because. So I'm going to pull my browns. Da-da-dum. And what I want is somewhat of a, not a dirtyish look, slightly grungy. I'll go without that term. So I have a medium and a dark brown and a gray. And this happens to be what is my Brett funner. And we'll start. Zoom in. All right. So let's get this little puppy going. So last night I was looking for my little embellishments that I wanted to add, which were my ladybugs, wooden ladybugs. Do you think I could find them? Of course not. So I figured if I ordered a replacement set from Amazon, I would find my set. Did I find them? No. So my ladybugs have flown the coop. Okay. Now I'm getting that popcorny effect, which happens sometimes. And that's where the white of the paper shows through. Wanda, loved your latest posting. Pretty. Wanda says it's so hard for me to color grays on grayscale. I feel like you can't see what you've colored. Yeah, it's there. I actually did gray on grayscale when I did my lady coming out of the desert. That was that piece with the plants around it. So Wanda, what kind of music did you listen to last night? So we've got a nice base brown coloring here. to do this satchel. And welcome to all of you that are new. Grab your coloring, whatever projects you're working on, and sit and relax and use this as your coloring time while you're listening. Please say hello. Last night was country music. I didn't get to dance any though. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, now as you can see, the artist has shaded in some of the lines. Mary said her Alan Jackson concert got canceled. Well, that's a bum. So we are driving to Illinois in September to see Luke Bryan. Wanda says, me too, I needed the exercise. Well, Wanda, I've seen some women dance alone. Or dance with a friend that they might have gone to. Rhonda says she looks forward to this time of evening every day. Aw. Thank you, Rhonda. We love having you. Okay, take your time. Zoom in. Okay, so I'm going ahead and shading in a little bit darker area here. Mary says it'll be a group of us women going. Ben has told me that he does not have bail money. Ooh. So are you going to use your smartphone? And when I come on air, you'll turn it on and just watch it in the background while you're at the concert? Oh, yeah. Don't get me wound up, ladies. Last time you did, I ended up playing 3 national anthems. Okay, so we'll go a little bit darker here with my base color. Now, I want to talk about that a minute. By going a little bit darker with my base color, and I'm calling my base color the color that I use. Mary says if we get a signal, we'll be out in the boonies. Oh, Mary. Loyal Mary. So even though I'm using my base color here, I am darkening a little bit, and that will affect every other pencil that I put on top of that. If you don't want to specifically darken it with your base color, that's fine as well. And what I would recommend, guys, for those of you that have printers, I would print out a couple copies of your pages and try these different techniques. Better yet, she could FaceTime with you and you could hear and see the concert. Yeah, no, that's kind of a no-no, but sweet thought. So what I would do is make a copy. I would do one copy with my base color, just the base color over, no special emphasis. And then the other copy, I would emphasize where the shading is and then put your colors over it. Okay, zoom out. Excuse my arm. Excuse my arm. All right, blender pencil. And yes, I did pre-spray the page with my fixative. Oh man, look how beautiful that looks. Look how beautiful that's looking. Now, leather is fun to do because it has so many different colors. I mean, you could do blue leather, for example. Now remember, don't scrub your piece. Nice and light, right? And if your piece is acting a little problematic, then you want to go ahead and blend it in a different direction. Take your time, enjoy it. And let's go ahead and add just a little bit of highlight in here. I'm going to do that. So I'm using my little click eraser. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight now some leather spots. Isn't that cool? And that'll give us that really cool look. BRB, Rita, means be right back. And I've asked people to let me know when they step away. So that's how they tell us. All right, so do you see how I'm starting to get these little leather marks on here? And again, if you have any question about where something goes, I think I missed a blending spot. Thought I blended that. I guess not. You can really tell. Yep. Da, 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 da. Now you can go ahead and add a couple more spots. But remember what I told you is you don't want to get into repetitive patterns, okay? So that's why I did this one, for example, in the center, and this one up to the left. And I'm going to put one right on top of this buckle because that's probably where you get some of this wearing away. Zoom out. All right. So now I've got a Star Joy that I'm going to be using. Oh, Rita says she got the electric eraser and 3 books. Oh, Rita, great. Excuse me the thumping. Oop. And by the way, for those of you that own the Linkyo, if your pencil point breaks off inside of the sharpener, just tap it on its end with the holes until it bumps out, which is what I'm doing. There we go. Oh, Rita, that's great. Wanda, do you still like your Linkyo? Okay. Had to clean up a little bit of a mess there. So I'm using my next color, which is a sepia color by Star Joy. Zoom in. Ashley, I was just about to ask you. Don't forget, sharpen graphite pencils in it. I went to Amazon Basics and bought a box of just nothing but number 2 pencils. Okay, now we're going to play with our worn look here. Zoom in. So we'll go ahead and hit the edges with it. And remember, when you blend out, you lighten the pressure as you go outward. And Sandy loves her doll 133. I've heard a lot of good things about that. DAHL 133. Yep. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. Staples had boxes of 10. Okay. Pencils, I'm assuming you're talking about. I would just buy the cheap ones in bulk. You're going to use them up if you're, trust me. Okay, now, this is my next color that I'm using. I'm going over my shaded areas a little bit, but I also want you to notice that I'm bringing the second color down into my lighter areas. Everybody see that? Very, very lightly. Number 2 pencils for 3 cents a box. Cool. So I'm bringing down that second color into my light area just a little bit. And guys, I'll say this again, don't get nervous or lost about, you know, how do you know where to color where? You'll get a feel for it. And if you're not sure, look at images on Google. But surely you've seen a leather satchel before, and as you start to color, you'll go, oh yeah, that's the way I want to do this. When people first learn coloring, they feel like they have to do it exactly like the colorist is doing. And they'll say, how do you know to put your colors there, or, you know, whatever. You're creating a general look with your coloring, guys. Okay. A little bit of extra brown, maybe like right there. See how I'm just putting that little swatch? Zoom out. Okay, and that's enough because we don't want to work it too much. Zoom out. Now, I don't like how big that light area is, so I'm going to close that down just a little bit. And curve it. And please, if anybody, lurkers, if you have a question, please ask. Guys, that's why I'm here. One of the reasons, anyway. Okay. Zoom in. Notice how I'm adding this little edge around that lighter spot, just because. I want you guys to get comfortable in your skin and confident with doing stuff like this. You know what looks right. I'm going to use my finger just to blend that in a little bit. Zoom out. Everybody see the difference between the bag and the top here and this center portion that I was doing? Zoom in. Whoop. And the other thing that I would encourage you, if you're coloring something, let's say your intention is to put a darker line on each side, and you put it on one side and that looks cool to you, stop, okay? All right, let's get this buckle done. Or the strap in the buckle, I should say. Ashia, hi! Where have you been? Zoom in. Now, right here in this spot here, where I'm just angling across the darker color, that works. We'll blend that in just a little bit. About time Alaska checked in. All right. Zoom out. All right, what do you guys notice about the strap, coloring wise? Well, I'm grabbing some water. Okay, Ashley says it doesn't match. What does that mean? No shadows. Okay. Okay, the way I've got this right now, I've got it darker down here than I do up here, and it's looking a little bit wonky. So I'm going to go ahead and even that out. In other words, it's a little bit off balance. There we go. That's better. Now remember, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going back and tweaking as you're coloring, even if it gets to the point that you're near the end of the piece. So I'm just going to clean up this gear a little bit and my white areas. All right. That's right, Mary, it might be darker at the bottom from hands and oils. Exactly. And that's why I left it the way that I did, is it's a little bit darker, but not as much as it was before. And Mary, that's a very good call on that. That's exactly right. Blender pencil just a little bit. Good eye, Mary. Exactly. Which also brings up my next point, is just because you're doing a fantasy piece, this is not exactly fantasy, but when you're doing a fantasy piece, keep things like that in mind. All right, let me pull you up this way a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of gray. Zoom in. And I want you to keep in mind this is a really important point that I want you to keep in mind, is this. Do not color until you see the color that you're putting on showing up. You color to the point that the piece looks the way that you want it represented. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? In other words, there are times that you're going to add a color to something and you're not necessarily going to see that color. But you will see a difference in the way the piece looks. Zoom out. You see what I mean? On these first two portions, I've added the little bit of gray. And it's just changing the patina of that piece. Enough to make it look really neat. Some people will color until they see that color appearing. And that's where you're going to get into trouble, because you could end up having too much of that color there. How do you remove white jelly roll from your picture? How big of an area is it, Wanda? Is this on gray, and is this on grayscale? Now, see how I'm adding the gray to this bottom section here? Zoom in. Oh, the veins on your butterfly. Try your X-Acto knife. Very lightly. The other option would be to color over it with a different color and incorporate that into your picture. Does everybody see what I mean about this gray? I know for a fact that that gray is going down, although I can't visually see that color, but it is changing the look of my piece. Wanda, are you trying to remove the veins? Are you trying to remove them or completely, or what are you trying to do with it? Now, I'm also going to take what I'm telling you a step further, is if you're coloring in and adding a gray color like this, and you start to specifically see the gray, you've put too much on. All I'm trying to do with this is darken that satchel. You put the white down and it's too much, it needs to go away. Okay, if you can't get rid of that white, I would mute it with another color, specifically a marker. Zoom out. Okay, everybody see now how that's coming together. So the point that I'm making here, Wanda, use a light marker. Let's say you have pinks in your butterfly. I would use a very light pink and incorporate those veins into it. So if I were having you look at this and I asked you what colors are in this picture, you probably would not say gray. All right, anybody have any questions? We've got a really nice looking bag here. All right. And guys, that just comes with experience and learning. So now you know that when you have a leather bag like this and you add a little coating, for lack of a better word, of gray, this is how it makes your piece look. And this is where practice is going to come in. So it's a light brown, excuse me, it's a medium brown, a darker brown, and then the gray. Okay. And just so that all my new people know that if I move on to another section and you still have a question about something I've done on the picture, I'll gladly go back and answer your question. Okay, let's work on the hat. La da 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 dum. Whoop. So I'm going to go with some shades of green on that. And this again is where you need to think about what message you're trying to convey with this. Now, you don't have to get into deep thought. Do you want him to look like a little street urchin? Do you want him to look a little bit mismatched? Up to you. Alrighty. So I'm going to start with my greens. Doo-doo-doo. Wanda, what do you think of the suggestions that I gave you? It sounds like you're stuck with the veins on the butterfly. Just change them. Now, I want this to look like a satin hat. I'm sorry, felt hat. Oh, yeah. And I can definitely tell what kind of paper I'm working on, because normally I work on cardstock. And this is the paper that came in with the magazine. And I'm getting lots of popcorn effect with it. Oh, okay, so Wanda said I was able to scrape away some and used my eraser to take off more. All right. I think I can go over with a dark pencil now. Excellent. Wanda, did you print your piece on cardstock? Zoom in. Zoom in. And of course you pre-sprayed it. Good, I'm glad you were able to remove that stuff then. I love this picture. I just think it's the neatest thing. Truth be told, I bought this magazine, this issue, because of this picture. I really wanted to do this for you. So you prefer without the fixative? And now I'm going to blend this in because I want a really smooth base to work on. In this little area right here, I've got a high part of the hat, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that with my eraser now. Now, it's up to you when you do this. Sometimes if I see an interesting spot that I really like, I'll go ahead and do it. Oh, you use it afterwards, or if I want to seal in your background before continuing with the subject of the picture. Okay. Zoom out. Everybody see the difference between the blending on the bottom and the blending up here? It makes a difference. Zoom in. And I accidentally wiped out part of the feather. So Rhonda says the Krylon doesn't work too well for me, but it depends on the coloring book paper and how well it works. Okay. Test it, test it, test it. Okay. Lost a little bit of my feather there. And we'll get that back. There we go. La, la, la. So we want a really smooth blend on that, given what we're doing with this hat, which is the felt hat. Smooth as a baby's bottom. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and darken in my outside here. And this is where we can have a lot of fun with this pattern now on this hat. And how I'm going to end up making it look like felt. Now, you guys know that sometimes I will 100% follow the shading, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like a nut, sometimes I don't. And as you see patterns emerging, hi Sandra. As you see coloring patterns emerging that you like, in other words, I like the little lighter spot right here, embrace it. Alright, so let's feather that out. There we go. Everybody see how that hat is starting to come together with that? Sandra, I hope you had a nice day today. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad to see you. I want you to remember that when an artist shades something, they're just giving you an indication of where something should be. And you should be perfectly okay with expanding on it to what you want. Whoops, but stay within the lines. Ooh-wee. I wonder how ILene is doing. She had her MRI on Friday. Oh, Sandra says she took her granddaughter to the beach for her very first time. Oh man, how neat is that? Excuse my arm. Do I have to blend after the first layer? Sometimes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on the look that I want. Clarissa. So Sandy, in this case, I'm letting the pencil do the work, and I want this little like feathery, streaky look. So I will not blend that. Clarissa is now in the room. All right, Sandy stepped away for a second. I wanted to tell her something. All right, let's take a look at this. Zoom out. Zoom out. See, we're starting to build this up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting in a few streaks. To give us this felty look. Sandra says she liked it. She's getting used to the car. When we were locked down for so long, we only met outside. So a year and a half when she should have been in our car, we were in this pandemic. Oh, catching up with lost time. Thank you, Sandra. I'm glad you like the green. Okay, now do you guys, you know how felt has that property that you can kind of run streaks on it? So that's what we've got here. And now I'm going to blend out these edges so we can start getting that definition down a little better. And I'm also going to pop in a little bit of shadow up at the top. Let's do that. And then bring that down just a little bit in various places. There we go. Oh, Wanda says, well, it's not the look I wanted for my butterfly, but it's what I have now. Shh, Wanda, don't tell anybody. Doesn't that hat look cool on the top? I'm going to go ahead and soften my edge a little bit. Well, Wanda, I know that you don't like missteps, but I would encourage you to relax with your coloring and go with the flow. Zoom in. I really would like to see you relax more. And just embrace what happens with your pieces. Okay, so now I'm going ahead and shadowing. Now I'm going to add a little bit of a color here. Zoom in. See that little dark line that I put across the hat right here? That's just adding to the ambiance of the piece. And then I'll go on and just color very lightly with this darker green. All right. Zoom out. Now we have this hat coming around. So I'm going to play with that shading. As Bob Ross would say, that's a happy accident, Wanda. All right, everybody see how I'm putting these swirls in the hat? And then blending them out a little bit. Isn't that cool? And then I'll go ahead and rub my finger over the entire thing just to soften it up. Zoom out. Questions? All right. I think our guy is looking pretty dapper and pretty cute. Sandy, now that you're back, you asked about blending and I said it depends. So on this hat, I want a completely softer look. So I'm using my finger to go over the top. And on this area on the edge here, zoom in. I wanted that to look softer as well. And so I'm giving it a little bit of a blend with my finger just to soften that up. It just depends on the look that you want. Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca, when did you sneak in the room? All right, so we talked about, hold on, gotta move you a little bit. There we go. I want you guys to color based on what the situation calls for and not because you think that it's a lockstep step that you have to take. That's the difference in coloring. Oh, Rebecca, you were here about 20 minutes ago as soon as you got the car unloaded. I'm sorry I missed you. Okay. Little bit of gray. And remember that repeated strokes darken. So I'm using my gray very lightly. And I'm lingering where I want a little bit more definition. So underneath this hat brim, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little more emphasis of gray and then blend it out. I'm sorry, Rebecca. I'm putting a little bit of gray underneath the goggles to emphasize the bottom there. Very, very lightly. But oh man, how it impacts the piece. Do you guys remember when I did hair a while back and I added in some shading of dark gray in the strands? And you guys also remember when I did that archway where I added all the blocks and we had the flowers around it and I put gray and black in between the flowers and that popped it out? That's what this does. But again, as you are coloring, I don't want you to say, oh, okay, well, my next step has to be, you know, fill in the blank. And that's where you'll become a better colorist, because as I show you these different techniques, you'll start cherry picking the ones that you need. Not doing it, and not just doing it because you think it has to be done in a certain step by step by step. You've got to learn to color for what the situation calls for. That's why when I teach you this stuff, I go to great lengths to explain why I'm doing something. Okay, see how I'm putting in this gray now to darken up this corner just a little bit? And again, the very fact that I'm rubbing my gray pencil over my green is causing that gray to deposit on the green. You may not visually see it, but your brain sees it. Remember, I've talked about that before. Your eyes don't necessarily see it, but your brain does. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? There we go. I don't want you to do rote coloring. You know, step 1, step 2, step 3. No, you've got to look at what the situation calls for. And you'll learn better if I stay on camera. Zoom out. Zoom out. Well, you guys know that I don't want to miss anybody that comes in the room, so really, it's partially your responsibility to make sure I see you. Because you guys know I love saying hello. All right, what do you think so far? Okay. So as I'm looking at this, I'm seeing olive green pants. Now, this is another thing that should help you while you're coloring, that while you're looking at something, this is not really olive green. Let's see if we can get a better color here. If you're looking at something and something strikes you as, oh, that would look good being whatever, go ahead and pop over to it. Sometimes that happens to me, sometimes it doesn't. But that's the neat thing about doing this. Is that you'll be spurred on to your different colors. And this is why I say to you, it's okay if you move around. Because I know that if I put olive green on these pants, that'll give me some other ideas for the rest of it. So let's go ahead and do that. Zoom in. If you guys say hi to me when you come in the room and I don't say hi back to you, I just missed you. So I want you to jump up and down and make yourself known that you're in the room so I can see you. That's where Wanda usually steps in and slaps me on the side of the head and says, hey, did you see that so-and-so? Now right now this kind of looks like a pukey green. Trust me, I'll get there. Do you honestly think I'm just going to leave this with one shade of green? No. You know me better than that. Okay, so we need to figure out where the hips are. So I'm assuming the hip is about underneath his hand, even though his hand isn't resting on it. Oops, even though his hand isn't resting on it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the coloring right about there. And then the other thing is we need to decide where's the crotch. And that will make my decision for me as to where I stop this overall ring. But don't fuss about it, because where I stop it may be different where you stop it. Crotch is probably about there, where I put that little dot. So I think I'm going to just stop it about here. And I'd sure like to know how this little boy gets his pants off, because there's no zipper. Okay. Now, Sandy. I could blend this with white pencil. And what that will do is that will lighten up the entire color, which is fine. I could blend this with my blender pencil. I could blend it with my finger. It just depends the look you want. White pencil works pretty well for fabric, depending on what you want to do. Oh, and Sandy says she checked out a YouTube video on the color wheel. And did it help you? And did you read that article I sent you, which is up in announcements? By the way, guys, for anybody that's new to the group, you've got to check announcements, because I have articles and information archived in there. And, you know, Sandy, the other thing is, if you don't know what color goes with what color, do a Google search and say what color goes with purple. And you'll get some really neat answers on that. And that's a tip for everybody else too. Zoom out. Okay, that was white. Be sure to clean your pencil off when you're done. And now I'm going to come in with a dark olive green. By the way, that other pencil was a Castle Arts, to let you know. 076, and this one is a Cool Bank dark olive green 120. Okay, Sandy. Zoom in. So now I'm coming in with my dark olive. Now, heads up on this. I'm going to be doing two things with this pencil. Number one, I'm going to darken in a little bit around the fingers and the belt. Number two, let me do the fingers first. Now remember, when you darken around something like these fingers, you'll go darker right next to it, and then you'll go ahead and lighten that color as you go outward. Shadows are not lines, guys. Okay, so I'm darkening around my image here, my belt and my belt buckle and my belt. And then I'm also going ahead and darkening on the crease that the artist put in, and also the shadow here, which actually is the shadow of the bag. And then I'm playing with the lines a little bit and adding my own creases. Ooh, that color just went weird. Okay. Something to do with the lead there. Okay, that's a surprise. Surprise. All right, notice the shadow on the belt. I'm working it out to be lighter and lighter. Okay, now I'm going to go through and I'll go ahead and start. Boy, what is going on here? Oh well, I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to go over all of my light olive with my dark olive. And what that will do is that's going to tone down that initial color. And you've seen me do this before with pieces. Sometimes I tone down my base color, sometimes I don't. And I also, let's see, I also don't like how I've left this ragged at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and use my white. My hand is not touching the paper, by the way. And we'll go ahead and smooth that out on the edges. Questions, comments? Zoom out. Zoom out. Not too shabby. Zoom in. Now I'm going to show you a little trick with this rainbow color wheel that I have. I want to show you how this works, and hopefully this will help some people. The reason that it's got these holes in it is because it allows you to lay it over whatever piece that you're working on. And what you do, zoom in, zoom in. What you do is you look for the color closest to what is showing through the little window here. And right now I would say that this is a number 5 or a number 6. So this has the 5 and the 6. So I'm going to turn my wheel, and when I look at my tridatric, it goes to blue, and it also goes to these reds. So then I'm going to look for the color 5 and 6 on my blues. Everybody see that? So this is telling me, zoom in, this is telling me that these two colors would work with this green. Does everybody see how that works? Zoom out, zoom out. Questions? So I'm going to look for a little bit of a darker blue, and one of the things that I'm working on setting up is I created some tags for myself. I bought a little die cutter in the shape of a tag, and I'm going through and I am creating a tag for each color. I'm numbering my pencils and I'm saying what the thing is. So this is a Faber Castell number 84, for example. So I will look for a color that's relatively close. It looks like it's a little bit gray. There we go. And this is telling me that this is my Guanghai pencil number 103. So then I look in my pencil stash where they're all numbered. Which right now is a hot mess. Or the other color on the wheel for the reds would work. That's correct, exactly. Now at the moment my 103 is somewhere because I just got, oh here we go. I just got all these new pencils. Let's see if we can find it. And I had to stuff them into my container here until I can get them numbered. So bear with me because I want you to see this. There we go, 103. Zoom out. So I took my pencil, I labeled it with the I've got a label maker, and I put a piece of tape around it so that I wouldn't wipe it off with my hands. Exactly, Sandy. The video that you watched explained 2 different kinds of color wheels. That's right. I like this one out of the 2 they talked about. Yep. So let's go ahead and work on his shirt. And I promise you, Sandy, that after a while, zoom in, you will get to the point where you'll innately see what colors work for you. Wanda, do you use a color wheel? Wanda has painted in acrylics. So she's got a lot of years under her belt regarding colors. Yeah, she says yes, but rarely. Yeah, because after a while you just know what works. Wanda, did you use a color wheel a lot when you first started out? Okay, Wanda says it just seems to come naturally to her. No, only trying it out recently. Okay, cool. And notice that I'm coloring along the swing of the arm. Do you have this particular wheel, Wanda? I like it. I thought it was really cool with those holes in it, that you could go ahead and match up your colors. And guys, if you're a beginner, please, please, please do not get flummoxed with this. Now remember, when you're coloring like this, and you notice how I darken that shaded area a little bit, guys, you don't have to do that. I just like doing it. It works for me. And I'm going to color in little circles just to try and get this filled in. I am really having problems with the popcorn because this is the actual page from the coloring book. Dorothy! Hello. Zoom in. Hey Dorothy, you do know that I start at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right? Are you able to come in a little bit earlier? Yeah, mineral spirits you can use. I may do that. I'll do that just to demonstrate it. And for anybody that's new, don't buy the Gamasol from Amazon. It's expensive for a teeny tiny bottle. All it is odorless mineral spirits. Go to your hardware store or Walmart or whatever the equivalent is in Canada and get yourself a can of mineral spirits. And I accidentally, I think I colored over a buttonhole. I did. Oops. Sandy says, I did pick up a small pack of eyeshadow to try on my piece. I did find the same things at dollar store to put on like you did with the Dragon Girl for her dress. How did that work out for you, Sandy? And Wanda says she saw a neat trip for using mineral spirits today. What was the trick, Wanda? Okay, so let me get the rest of this shirt done. See guys, this is why live is so valuable to you, because as I'm talking about stuff, people chime in with things that they have learned or know about and want to share. I'll show you in a minute, Sandy, what mineral spirits are for. It's used for blending. That's what it's used for. And guys, feel free to ask me if I'm coloring something and you want me to demonstrate the use of something like eyeshadow, just ask me and I'll incorporate it into the picture if I can. So Wanda says, put the mineral spirits in one of those watercolor pens that hold the water. Yep, you know, with the brush tip. And then you just brush at the picture. It works very nicely for her. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and let me explain what that is. Hold on, guys. Zoom out. This is a water brush, and what you do, I can never remember how these open, so I'm going to look like a real dork. Oh, there we go. What you do is you fill them with water, or in this case, mineral spirits. And as long as you've got a good brush and good control, you can go ahead and instead of brushing with water, these twist on backwards. That's what the issue is. You go ahead and you brush with this. I may just go ahead and do that. And see, this has a green cap, so that'll remind me that this has mineral spirits in it. So give me a second. I'll play with it. Sure. And guys, please, 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 if you have these tips, please share it in the group. That's what we're all about. Which now leads me to wonder too, is if you could designate one for baby oil as well. Yeah, I know, that's going to be the issue, is filling the pen. Ashley, how do you fill your pens? Right, and dab it on a paper towel to make sure that you aren't getting too much. Guys, please, please, please share these tips in our group. That's what we're all about. Wanda, I know what would work perfectly. You know those little syringy things? Or no. You know those ear wash bottles? Little suction bottles with a that you stick in your ear to rinse your ear out? Bulb, ear bulb. That would work perfectly. Ashley says she uses a mini squeeze bottle with a pointer tip. Looks like a Stickles bottle. Yep. zoom out. Okay, let me roll this backwards. By the way, this is called Errand Boy. That's the back of it, and then the next one is called Focus. And that's by Coloring Haven. Okay, I'm going to go get my little bottle, my ear bottle thing. So if you guys don't mind, chat among yourselves for a minute and let me run and get that. Be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back. So Rhonda says I'm just frantically drawing in bricks for background. Luckily you found a stencil that works. Okay. Okay, so I keep my mineral spirits in this jar. What was it? Mount Olive olives. Oh, green olives. And like I said, I'm going to use this green one because that'll remind me that it's a special use brush. And I'm going to go ahead and label it. can label it on the barrel itself too if you want. I'm also wondering if we're going to talk about this. I've got another green one, and I'm thinking, wonder if you could do the same thing with baby oil. And this little ear wash thingy works beautifully. I just loaded up my brush. Put my lid back on. No, Vicky, you cannot have this. So I've got this loaded for mineral spirits, and I'll take my cap off. And I've got a paper towel. Yeah, the eyeshadow. Are you talking about the eyeshadow brushes, Wanda, that I use? Okay. So I'm going to dab my brush on my paper towel. And Sandy, to answer your question, mineral spirits dissolve the wax and the pigment in the pencil. Oh, not the sponges, but brushes. Okay, cool. Zoom in. Hello, Karen Hood. And here we go. And the mineral spirits now is dissolving the pigment and the wax and giving you a nice smooth background. And again, I wonder if anybody has tried this with baby oil. Now, these brushes are normally, yeah, you can go over it with pencil because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. It dries beautifully. And can you guys see how smooth that's coming up? And what I like about this, which I haven't done before, is that it's not dumping a lot of the mineral spirits on the page. Zoom in. See how smooth that is, guys? All you're doing with the mineral spirits is you are redistributing the pigment of your pencils. Wanda, thank you for sharing this tip. And guys, when you do this, make absolutely sure that you are in a well-ventilated room. Zoom out. What a neat idea. Never even crossed my radar to do this. But it did cross my radar about trying it with baby oil. So I'll be doing that as well. Wanda, have you done this now? So Ashley said she's already been doing it. Zoom in. Everybody see the difference how smooth this side is as opposed to this side? And that's because the pigment didn't get into the paper, the wax from the pencils. Oh, Wanda, you're going to love it. Ashley, how long have you been doing this? And you know what? This idea of using this brush for me is one of those duh moments. If I thought about it, I would have been doing it. Anybody have any questions about this? Wow. I love it. Now, notice that little streaking in there that's coming up? I'm just going to leave that. I like it. I like it. I love it. Do, 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 do. What a difference. Clarissa, yeah, baby oil is also good for blending. That's why I'm thinking that I can put baby oil in one of these and do the same thing. And to clean your brush, you get a little cup of mineral spirits. I've got those little plastic cups that I use, and swish it around. Yeah, and Wanda, yes, exactly. I've been advised not to use baby oil as well. It's a petroleum oil. And certainly do not use Vaseline. I don't recommend baby oil. Again, people have used it, but it's not something I really use. Wow, guys, look at this. And the nice thing is the mineral oil is contained within this brush, and the brush has a cap. So I'm not worried about that aspect of it. Again, just make sure that you're in a well-ventilated area. I have never ever had problem using mineral oil in my studio. Some people freak out about it, you know, using mineral oil being the chemical that it is. I've never had any problem with it. I really haven't. And I absolutely love this. Zoom out. Look how smooth that is. And zoom out. It dries right away. And I've got everything blended the way that I want it. Now, I have these little plastic cups that I use. I'm going to put a little bit of my mineral oil in it. Just a touch from my jar. I'm going to swish my brush in it to clean it off as much as I can. Dab it off on my paper towels. You're going to get a little staining. You can't get away from it. And then I'll put my cap on. And like I said, I've got this labeled as mineral spirits, so I know what it is. And then I'm going to, with my cup, I'm going to take my paper towel and shove it in there, which basically seals the cup. And throw it away. There we go. Questions, comments? Okay. So let's go ahead and get our next blue. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and add my shading. You guys are so quiet. And Sandy, to answer your question, like I said, perfectly dry. This stuff dries very, very quickly. And now I'm going to go ahead and continue with my coloring. As I prompt the color outside the line. Oh my. There we go. So now I'm using a Brett Funner Blue Iolite, I-O-L-I-T-E. Oh, lovely. I just got a hurricane activity alert on my iWatch. Okay. Hurricane. Hurricane activity alert. Felicia has been downgraded to a Category 2 hurricane with sustained winds of 109 miles per hour. Okay. That's good news for the coast. Now, the other thing that you're going to find is that your subsequent pencils that you put in on will go on very creamily. That's a word. Got a little rough right there. Just smooth that out with my blender pencil. There we go. Just hit that. Ashley says she wore out after the hot air balloon glow last night. Hot air balloons at night are beautiful. Oh, I bet. Ashley, were you in one or were you watching the event? Okay, now notice how I'm adding some shadow in for the folds. I am turning my pencil to keep it sharp. And then I'm very lightly coloring over in the middle any areas that I want to show little divots of fabric or little scuffy marks. Now, the neat thing is that as you're doing this, with your mineral oil, it's going to tend to leave little areas like this. So for fabric, it's perfect that you can just go ahead and emphasize your lighter and darker areas. Oh, Clarissa said that they had a hot air balloon event in Ohio last night. I wonder if that was a national thing. And they had 18 balloons up. They had where they had all 18 up at once, and they twinkled. Oh. Rita says we have a big hot air balloon thing in New Mexico. Yeah. Oh man, this is coming out beautifully. And if you need just a little dash with your blender pencil, which I feel I do, just lightly do that. Questions, comments? Look how cool this shirt's looking, guys. Zoom in. So again, this is my darker pencil. It's my second blue. What do I tell you? Use multiple shades of whatever color you've got. Don't just darken with one pencil. Zoom out. Yeah, I know the one about the balloons in New Mexico. That's pretty famous. Zoom out. What do you guys think of how that shirt's turning out with the methods that we used? You like it? Okay. So I'll move over now to the front of the shirt. And again, the neat thing is you can follow the way the pencil blended with the mineral oil using the brush, if you like. If you don't, change it up. Okay, now we have the buttons over here, so this top material is overlapping on this part of the shirt. Zoom in. So we're going to need to work on shading that a little bit. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and use your mineral oil again, but I prefer the blending pencil. Ashley says she got some beautiful pictures. Oh, gonna use one for inspiration on the Wish You Were Here balloon page. Beautiful. Rhonda says, please don't make him dirty. He's so smiley. What do you mean, Rhonda? What do you mean, Rhonda? Now, even though I've used my mineral oil here, you can still go over it with your blender pencil and get beautiful results. So what, you don't want me to use gray on the shirt? Is that what you're saying? Oh, you mean don't make them grungy. Okay. Now, notice here how when I'm using my blender pencil, I'm coming out to the right and up a little bit. So I'm curving that and making that swirly. Oh, I said at the beginning I was going to make them grungy. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, we can do that. Can I put a little soot on his face? Okay. La-da-dum. Da-da-dum. Rhonda says, okay, a little. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. Oh, zoom in. Every once in a while. No, don't have a picture picked out yet for Wednesday. I'll get that posted on Monday. All right, a little bit of gray on the inside now where his shirt is overlapping. And again, guys, done in such a way that you don't necessarily notice it. That's the key. Yeah, I need you guys to show up Wednesday. I wonder if Wednesday's a good day. I know some of you go to church. Wonder if I should move it to Thursday. Oh, Wanda thinks she's finished with her butterfly picture. Okay, notice how I'm putting the darker blue underneath the shirt a little bit. Oh, Ashley says she's... Oh, you're good either day, Sandy? Okay. Ashley says she's here Wednesday. Ash, are you available Thursday? Christine. Ashley says either day. Sandy stays home during the week. Okay. Wanda says I could be here Wednesday, but not Thursday. Okay. Yeah, Christine, you really need to watch this video. Wanda shared a technique that she learned on YouTube of putting the mineral oil in one of the brush pens, brush tools. So that's mineral oil in there, and then blending with it. So notice my little triangle here in the corners. I like doing that. Yeah, Christine, this is a really neat idea, is putting the mineral oil in those brush blenders. Okay, and again, if you feel that you need to use a little bit of your blender pencil, that's fine. Just be very judicious with it. Just to clean up some of your areas. Oh, I love this shirt. Zoom out. Zoom out. Clothing is not hard, guys. La-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum. And you can see the difference now between the arm and the front and this one that I haven't done yet. Are you guys learning something? Hopefully you are. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay. So again, this is my darker blue, totally different pencil from what I used as my bottom color. So in other words, I'm not just darkening. The blue with my same color. Stop using monocolors, guys, on your pieces. Use your color range. Okay, I'm going to put a little crease in there. And remember, when you're coloring, even if the artist has not put in something and you think something should be in there, like a fold or something like that, put it in. I want you to think about your coloring. Okay, I'm going to color over the line because we want that black out of there as much as possible. We'll go ahead and shade underneath where the artist has put that shading. Oh, and pointing out, I'm using these mineral spirits on the original paper. This is not cardstock. Ashley says she needs to work on adding folds. Okay. Here's one I'm going to add right here. See that? Boom. Done. Little one right there. Done. Play with it, Ashley. Oh, Rhonda, by the way, those pigs look really good. You really stepped up your game. Did you guys see her pigs that she's coloring with the crate? Rhonda, if you get your blending down, you are really going to be happy with your pieces, and you'll be stepping up as a colorist. Your blending right now is just tripping you up, and that's why your pigs look really good now, because you blended them. And you listened to what I was telling you. Okay, you're adding a brick wall as okay. Now, you don't have to add a full brick wall. You can just put a few up there. Up to you. Ashley, see how these folds are in here now? I just went zoop, zoop, done. The sound effects are optional, Ashley. Oh, there are days days I am just so funny. All right, a little bit of white pencil now. Sandy, see how I'm doing that? And that white is softening up my materials. Now, I'm not going to put a lot in there. I'm very, very light. Ashley, do you see how these folds are looking really good? I mean, I just went zoop, zoop, done. I am a happy camper with this. Zoom out. Okay, a little bit of white right here. See how I put that line in here, Ash? Right here. And then smush it with your finger. I promise you, Ashley, that once you start doing this with the folds, zoom in. Okay, see this little area right here where I brought up these 4 dark lines? I'm going to sharpen my white pencil, and I'm going to put just a little bit of white in between. There we go. Boom. See how cool that looks? And then some rounding off right here. And see, it looks like the material is bunched up. Now, the artist didn't put these in here. I added them. Zoop, zoop. That's right, it's Z-O-O-P. Zoop, zoop. Hey, whatever gets you to remember the technique, I'm for it. Zoom out. See, you even heard it in my broadcast. Zoom out. Zoom out. So now when you're sitting there, do it. Zoop, zoop. Smudge. Oh, yeah. And then, Ash, see, afterwards I play with it. Whoop. Hold on, gotta sharpen my pencil. It's almost time for me to quit. My favorite part, oh, these pencils, I'm telling you. I don't know what it is about this one particular set. I am not convinced that they are authentic. I don't know, maybe they were just a bad batch from Prismacolor, but my white points keep breaking. Ashley, how long have you been using the idea of the mineral spirits in the water brush? Okay, so my favorite part of my coloring is the tweaking part. That's what I'm doing on the shirt right now. So this is where I, you know, do my little add-ons, or I erase or fix or something like that. Now, Ashley, I want you to notice too, zoom in. See how I played with this part right here and I went zoop like that, see? There you go, made a little smiley. And the first few times you do it, I don't want you to, you know, get discouraged. I think that shirt looks good, and I think if I'm smart, I'm not going to mess with it anymore, she said while she was coloring white over it. Yeah, zoop, Z-O-O-P, zoop, 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 no W. All right, I really need to quit on that. Zoom out. Anybody have any questions other than my sanity? Did you have fun? Did you learn something? Wait until you see what else I'm going to do with this. I have plans. Now, you know I like to tidy up, so I've got some green on this part up here. Now, guys, the reason I'm really big on tidying up is because if I have an area smudged with a color, it doesn't give me a clean canvas to pick colors from. So I really like to keep my stuff clean. I am very happy with this. I still feel sorry for him that he doesn't have a zipper. Oh man. Now, if somebody reminds me tomorrow, I will use eyeshadow to do his face, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm having a ball doing this for you. Okie dokie smoky. We're good. Fun project. All right, guys. That's it. Calling it an evening. I don't think they had them give him some buttons. Oh. I could give him SteamPunk buttons. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. These are my little metal thingies that I bought. What do you think? And maybe put a little, I'll just put a little, let's see here. Hold on. I'll put a little coloring here for the fly. What do you guys think of that? That looks very uncomfortable. Yeah, well, it's the small, Wanda, it's the smallest ones that I have. I don't know, I could put a little heart there. Oh, don't go there. Yeah, these, oh, wait a minute, whoa, 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 whoa. There's a teeny tiny. I used my teeny tiny elsewhere. I don't think I have another teeny tiny. Well, you guys get the idea. That might work. No, I'm trying to find a second teeny tiny one like this first one here. No more teeny tinies. Like I said, I use that on my other piece. But anyway, you get the idea. Have fun with it, guys. And Wanda, quit being so hard on yourself and being, I don't want to use the word perfectionist. Just relax and go with the flow of your pieces, sweetie. I don't want you to discourage yourself. You know, I don't have any regular buttons. I guess I'm going to be shopping at Amazon tonight. That would have been nice to have. I can get a button selection. Yeah, I'll look up in Amazon and see what I can do for buttons. Nope, don't have any. I suppose I could go into my closet since I'm retired and look on my work clothes and see if I have a couple buttons. I know where I can get a couple. Ooh. Mark left a few of his shirts. You know, he lives in Tulsa. And I could pull a couple of buttons from that. There we go. We can do this. All right, guys. Love ya. I had a lot of fun with this one. I'll quit yakking and I'll sign off. All right, guys. This is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Guys, joyous, joyous coloring. Have fun. And guys, please, please, please be kind to each other, okay? I will see you tomorrow night, same time, same place. Thank you for sticking with the program. All right, guys, you take care. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Love you guys. Bye.